Hey, welcome back to my channel. Today is a collaboration video. We are creating with the Make It From Your Heart Volume 6 book. This is a collaboration with some other scrapbookers, and we are walking through each of these layouts every month. So today we are on pattern 6, and it is this single page layout. So it has 7 photos. You fit a lot of photos on one layout. So I will be creating this layout, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. Since it is just a single page and I do have 7 photos, I don't need to do a companion page. We'll just be creating a single page. So I'll bring in one of my Versamats. Paper that I have chosen, I still have a bunch of the Sweet Memories. So I still have some of the Sweet Memories cardstock. I have some of the pattern paper. This one's exclusive to the workshop kit. I also have, this one is exclusive to the workshop kit as well. You get 2 of those. We have some cameras and this ledger paper. I've played around with this a little bit. So just some scraps. So we'll be able to get a lot more use out of this paper pack. So I have a couple ideas. I am thinking of doing something similar to this where they have the background pattern paper, accent pattern paper, and then they have a couple zip strips up at the top and right here. So I'm kind of more going off of this inspiration rather than this one. But all the measurements are right here, which is great. So for the background paper, I have this one. It's almost like a wood grain. I don't know how to explain it. It's kind of just like a whitewash. So that's very neutral. That might look good. I'm thinking of bringing in this pattern paper from Sweet Memories. So those would go nicely together from the same collection. This one is from the Mix-In November, December. So I thought that might be nice too. This one's more of like a burlap. This one has a little more texture to it, whereas this one's kind of like a wash. Can you see the difference there? Maybe not, but both very neutral. So I thought this one might look good as well. This one almost brings in more of the blue, but this one is more background, not so much detail. I don't know. You know what? Let's go with this one. We can even cut this and this. We don't need it to fill in all of this here. This is 6 inches. So we could save 6 inches of this paper by cutting out that section. Okay, so then this one will be the 6 inches. And then I have this blue zip strip. So I could either bring that up to the top, and I would need to use this side. So I could bring that up to the top, or I could bring it down here. I'll also want to bring in a 3rd color or a 3rd pattern paper for behind the photos that are going here. Let's go ahead and cut these down since I know for sure I want to use these. So I'm bringing in some plain white cardstock, and I'm just going to add a tiny little bit of adhesive to 2 of the corners and just tacking that white cardstock down. Okay, so I did cut these, so that'll be there, and then these 2. In my example piece, they have a zip strip here, here, and then one here between the transition. So I might bring in, let me see what I have for zip strips with this collection. Okay, so as I had mentioned, I have this zip strip. I only have one 12-inch, and then I have this one, which is 6. So I could have that one here. I kind of want these two to match though, and that's a lot of blue. But I also have this green zip strip that has that little bit of blue in it. So that might look good right there. And then I have a mulberry one as well. And I'm not sure if I want to bring mulberry into this layout. I'm kind of liking that green. It goes along with my pictures, and I'll show you those in just a moment. So as far as adding zip strips here and at the bottom, I could just cut one of my papers down. I have this one, which would bring in some more of that green and blue, and I could do a strip of that at the top and bottom. Let's try that. So I'm going to cut this at a 1/2 inch because that's what this one is at as well, which I don't need to do exactly a 1/2 inch. I don't have to match it, but I might as well since we'll have it in 3 places. So these are a little bit different. This one has more of the circle, and then of course this one. So same colors, but different layout or different pattern. Let me go ahead and get these cut down. All right, I got those cut. So I have 2 of this one. So we'll put one up here, one down here, and then this one in the center. All right, I'm liking how this is looking. I do want to bring in a 3rd color for over here, or just a 3rd paper. You can see in both of these, actually, they have the orange behind these photos, and then they have tan behind these ones. So I actually have this piece of mink scrap, and that might look nice over here. This has that mink wash in it, so that would kind of bring that in more. And then my embellishments could be mink, green, blue, bring in some more of that lighter blue. I have a jar full here of my embellishments from the Sweet Memories collection. I could bring in some stamps and stuff too, but like these have the little blue and green flowers. That would look nice with that. So yeah, I'm liking this as a base. I'm liking how this is looking. Let's go ahead and get this adhered, and then I'll bring in my photos and let you see. These are the pictures we'll be documenting. We went and visited some friends, and we were playing some games, and we were hanging out with their kids. My husband drew or painted them this drawing here, a portrait of their kids. So we surprised them with that. And then I have these 2x2s, just more pictures of all of us hanging out. So they have something like this. I obviously don't want to cover this one up though, so I'm actually going to overlap this one on top of this one rather than the other way around. And then this will be shorter. And instead of the 3 photos that they have here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's see if I can get 6 photos to fit in place of where they have 3. I'm not sure which order I want these yet. It would fit perfectly if I have them all touching. So then that would leave just a mink edge on the sides. So that would work. So they have these 3 straight, and then they have this one at an angle. Again, instead of overlapping it, I'm going to tuck it behind so we're not covering my friend there. You know what? I think this will be good. And then they have journaling here. I could bump it over here since I have a little more room. And then they have the title here, but I have a little more room here that I could add the title. I could even cut a little bit of my photo off and have it hanging off the edge because we don't need to see those cabinets. As long as we keep my husband there. Yeah. I could even add my journaling here and do an embellishment cluster over on this side. So I'm going to cut down mink, and I actually think I'm just going to cut maybe a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch by 12, because I don't need to waste all of the 2 inches wide. So let me go ahead and cut that down. Here's my 2 little 1/4 inch pieces of mink. Those will go on either side of those. Yes, I am liking that. Let's go ahead and get these adhered so I know how far over these pictures need to go. I don't want this all the way to the edge. I do want to see a little bit of the pattern. And I might want to ink it as well. Do I want to incorporate any black just to define some of the edges? Or do we want to keep it nice and soft? Yeah, I think this gets kind of lost. Let's go ahead and bring in mist. And actually, since we're just doing one side, because my photos are going to be, woo, that was close. So my photos are going to be butted up against the other side. We'll just go like this. Just get that nice, solid. And here's my bear wanting to say hi. She's nudging my arm as I'm trying to do this. Thank you, Jessie. Okay, look at how much better that pops off. You can see it compared down here. Close to my heart cardstock is double-sided. The one side is the true color. The other side is a lighter hue of that same color. This one I am doing the darker side of the mink. There we go. Okay, so this one we want right, and actually since it's so narrow, I'm going to bring in my precision craft glue, the Barely Art. Okay. And then our Versamat is going to come in super handy here. Let's maybe go in, let's just go in that 1/4 inch. There we go. And then that liquid glue allows us to just shimmy that right into place. And then our photos. And then we'll do this one. So now I think I want to put my photos down. So I need to come up with the order of these. So we have, I think I want to go more by color. Like these two are kind of more orange. We have some, these two are a little darker. So maybe if we go like that, it kind of balances up. Maybe have the lighter ones at the top so that your eye carries all the way back down. Let's do that. I don't really know if there's a rhyme or reason. Okay, so this one is going to butt all the way to the top and all the way to that border. And then this one is going to be all the way at the bottom and all the way to that border. And they are just slightly off. They're not exactly the same size. So I'm actually going to overlap this just a little bit over my photos so that they all look the same size. add some adhesive to this. Help me grab it. Make sure our ink is on the outside. So then in order to catch all of it, I'm just using my Versamat. There we go. Let's bring these back in. And again, I did print these with the white border around. So that one will go right about there. And this one I do want over here since it's facing, he's facing that way. In the instructions, it tells you how far down to go with these two and how far down to go with this one with the angle and everything, but I'm just kind of playing around. I might want to see more of this blue, so I may actually want to bring that down more, bring these down so that I see more of that blue. I don't want a gap here. I suppose I could add my journaling in between, but I kind of like it better bunched together, and then I could do my journaling here or even down here. I like how these colors go with my husband's shirt and the little baby's pants. Okay, so then I think my journaling will go down here, my title up here, and I'm not sure what I want my title to be. I have a day to remember, a picture perfect day, snapshots, living the dream. Maybe I should do picture perfect day. Let's see what that would look like. I would bring in some more of the blue. We could have the title where they had originally put it up here. We could put it there. Let me remove the adhesive off of this. Close to My Heart does offer a anti-static pouch. So it removes the adhesive off the backs, and it's also meant for embossing. We might want a cluster down on this bottom right, we might want embellishments next to the journaling. We have this Bless This Home. We have the date. Although I do have the date in my journaling. I've already typed it up. I'll get it printed here in a moment. I have the Remember This. And that might look good. And then we could even bring the Bless This Home up here. And that kind of gets at. Let me see what I have for stamps. I'm going to remove the adhesive off of these so I can play around with them. And I'm going to grab a couple stamps out. All right, I got my journaling typed out, and I do have this on some clear shipping labels. So that I'm going to put down here. This one I brought in for the florals and the leaves. I could bring in some of the green leaves and then some mist florals. I have some background stamps. Wasn't sure if I should add some background stamping, but we do have a lot going on and we have a lot of pattern papers, so I don't want to take away too much from the photos themselves. I have this stamp set here, and this Everything is Better When You Bring Your Friends. We're obviously hanging out with our friends, and that could be a good one for this. And then I have Thankful for You Friend, or a thankful friend, or hello friend, but I'm thinking the Thankful for You Friend, but that's kind of a title, and I already have a title picked out, Picture Perfect Day, unless I switch that up. But I could bring in some of those florals and just bring them around there. So I'm going to stamp a couple of these. Anything in the blue highlight, anything that's highlighted has a coordinating thin cut. So let's just take a look here. So all of the Better Together, all of this is just the stamp, and then the ones highlighted have a coordinating thin cut. So I can stamp the flower and cut it out. So nice. And then all of the stamps come with, these ones stuck to it. All of the stamps come with this foam. So you can either flip your Versamat onto the back, which has that foam, so if you're doing a lot of stamping. Otherwise, you could use this foam, and you'll want to stamp on a foam. It helps the impression. It helps it come out more even. So let's go ahead and do a little bit of stamping here. I am just going to bring in a second Versamat and flip that one over. Since I already have everything kind of laid out, I don't want to mess that up. Okay, I have Mist, I have Mink. What is the color of the green in this? On the zip strips, some of them call them the branding strips because it says close to my heart and which collection you're playing with. We have Mink, Mist, Mulberry, Periwinkle, Sage, and White Daisy. So the green is actually Sage, which I do not have sage ink, but I do have sage paper. So to bring in that sage, I have sage paper and archival black ink, and I think I'm going to do the leaves directly onto this and cut it out. So let's just bring all the leaves in. We're going to want to incorporate that. And these leaves. And then I can actually put them on just a big block. This might actually be too big of a block. And just make sure that they're spread out enough that when I go to cut them with my thin cuts, there's room in between. And this one's hanging off just a smidge. There we go. I always rub them on my hand to season them and to get off any manufacturing powder or anything that may be on them. And then we will bring in the archival black ink. That is the darkest black. And since I won't be shading these or anything, since I'm going directly on the paper, I don't need to use intense black. I can just do the darkest. And then I'm wondering if I want to bring in, so all of Close to My Heart's cardstock is double-sided. So there's the actual color and then a lighter shade of that color. So I'm wondering if I want to do my leaves in the darker or in the lighter. And I actually think I like the lighter. It kind of, the darker obviously matches the zip strip a little better, but I kind of like the contrast in the, of the lighter one. So let's go ahead and do the lighter side. So I'm going to bring that Versamat back in. I'm going to move this white one out of the way. All right, let's get these all inked up. And then just press it down and give it a second to soak into the paper. Don't want to push too hard. The veins are very fine. And so if you push too hard, you might smudge those veins out. And voila. Let's go ahead and do this again. So I have a couple to cut out. I may have moved this one. We might need to stamp again. Let's take a look. Oh, actually, it doesn't look too bad. Okay. You know what? Let's do one more just for good measure, just to make sure we have enough to play with. Whatever I don't use, I like to keep and just set aside or even put it in the envelope with these. And then next time I'm creating, I have leaves already made for myself. So that should be good. Let's go ahead and get this cleaned up, and then I will stamp some of the flowers. Okay, I stamped some of what I think looks like baby's breath. So I just did that in black on the white. And then I'm going to bring in the mist, and I'm going to bring in these 3 florals, and I'm just going to do maybe 2 of each so I have plenty to play with. You could also stamp these flowers on mist paper like we did the leaves, but I want a little bit of white, I think, since our pictures are bordered in white. I'm going to do 2 more. I like things in odd numbers, but this one's so small that I might want to use more of him than the bigger ones. I brought in my mink ink as well. It is a very light color. I'm not sure how it will look, but I'm curious if some of the flowers would look good in mink as well. Let's see. It's still a little wet. I want to make sure I don't have any water on it. See how light that is? Maybe I want to try it with the baby's breath. Let's do 2 more of these just in case I want to use them. And then let's bring that baby's breath back in and try that with mink. Oh, that one got a little smudgy. Let's try it again. And I have some ink around the edges of my block. Okay, let's try him again. I was pushing down too hard. Sometimes if you push down too hard, it just smudges instead of leaving a nice impression. I'm liking that. So then when I add my leaves, baby breath, and florals into a cluster, I have all of the colors. I like that a lot. Okay, so these ones might just be going into my stash. I may not use those ones. And as you can see, they just line up perfectly. If you can find which way it goes. Oh gosh, close your eyes, don't watch. Okay, there we go. That one actually got really close to that. Hopefully it doesn't make a difference. So then this one goes right here. And this one right here. I always do my stamping first and then my thin cutting. A lot of people thin cut first and then stamp over the die cut. It's totally up to you, but I like to go this route, and then I just bring in a little bit of washi tape. So I line it up perfectly, bring in that washi tape, and the washi tape has enough adhesive that I don't have to worry, but it's not too much adhesive that it rips it when I try to take it off. It just started snowing here, which is crazy. Things were starting to bud, and like people were starting to see their tulips come in just yesterday. It was super nice out, and then all of a sudden today it's practically blizzarding. I like to run everything through together, so I'll just put these ones on as well. I got all of my stamps cut out. Let's go ahead and try embellishing a little bit here. This Remember This is getting a little lost against the white border and then this mink. So I'm actually thinking, hi Kita, of bringing in some mink ink and just going right around the edges. Again, this is a very light ink, so you can barely even tell I'm going over this, but once we put it on the paper, I think you'll notice a big difference. Okay, so I do like the Bless This Home up here. Let's try a couple of these florals. I might need to bring in some ink around those as well. I'm going to bring in my reverse tweezers. I like to just keep my hands out of the way and kind of see what I'm doing. So then if we have our journaling down here, which, you know, I could just put that on right now. I know I want it there. I've been using the clear shipping labels a lot more lately. I love how you can see the pattern paper behind it. And then I actually have this Cricut scraper that helps burnish that into the paper. So as you rub it, the clear adhesive just disappears into that paper behind. I love it. There we go. Had a lot to say, so I was able to type it real small and fit in that spot. Okay, let's go back up to these embellishments. We have some leaves. We could I like to layer. I like to put some under and then some over the top of my papers, or in this case, my zip strip. So I could have that visual triangle going. I could keep this kind of off center down here. Good there, and then I could bring... I'm going to play around with these clusters a little bit, and I will be back. I'm liking how these clusters are coming together, so I'm going to start gluing those down. I'm using a combination of my Precision Craft Glue, Barely Art, and then my tape runner for the larger pieces. And then I'll also be bringing in some of my foam adhesive, 30 foam tape. So I'm using this up. It comes with these super small dots, and then I like to use the what you would typically throw away for bigger pieces as well. So Close to My Heart does offer foam tape, and it comes in a roll, which is actually way more convenient than what I'm using here. So I'm just trying to use that up, but I'll have the Close to My Heart foam tape linked down below. And same with all of these, all of the stamps and thin cuts that I'm using today. If they are still available, I will have them linked in the description box. So be sure to take a look at the description box below if you are interested in any of these products. Actually, the stamps and thin cuts are what really drew me to Close to My Heart in the first place. I loved that you could make your own embellishments. You didn't have to go buy stickers that were a one-time use. You could make these whatever colors you wanted. So the stamps and the thin cuts were really what got me going on Close to My Heart. And their ink coordinates perfectly with their paper packs. So then you could really match it all together. So then I, of course, started buying their paper and going from there. And I've never looked back. I don't really, well, no, I don't buy embellishments from other companies. I don't buy from Hobby Lobby or Michaels or anything like that anymore, because I can make my own using their products. And they of course have the stickers and the punch outs, the cardstock punch outs. They have all of that coordinates with their paper packs. Okay, so I'm actually thinking maybe I should, how did I have this now? Yeah, so I'm not going to put adhesive all the way over here since that's where those green leaves are going. And then I just kind of want this at an angle right about there. Where'd these reverse tweezers are nice to help me grab. Okay, so then this will stick out about there. This will stick out about, it's not exactly where I had everything, but I kind of like that. Let's go ahead and do that. So I'm going to pop up this one. These are my micro tip non-stick scissors. Super nice to cut your foam tape with. You don't have to worry about it sticking to it. That'll stick down right about there. And then we removed the adhesive off this sticker, so we'll add some foam tape to that as well. Okay, and these are pretty thin or narrow, so I'm going to use my Barely Art for that. Okay, let's go ahead and pop this up. I'm just gonna chop off the stem, and that'll tuck right there. Don't even know. And then this one, I'll do the same thing. I'll cut off the stem of this one. And right there. I'm liking that. Okay, and I like that I'm bringing in 3 different colors into each cluster. So these 2 clusters are done. Let's go ahead and start down here. And I thought about bringing this, remember this in here? I think that'll look good. Then I have some words in each one. I have the mist in each, and I have the green and the mink in all of them. I think that'll look good. I think it does look pretty good, kind of right. I might cut it in half actually. Okay, so I just cut it in half and it might look good. All right, I love it. I think that turned out really cool. Really cute. All right, here's the finished layout. I got that cut down. All of my embellishments. This one's popped up, and so is that little flower. We have the Bless This Home popped up. Remember This is popped. And then my journaling. All right, let's take a look at the inspiration sketch. So again, this is the Make It From Your Heart Volume 6. Here is the inspiration. So they had 3 photos going down the side, and I have 6. Their title is up here along with an embellishment cluster. I do have my title and my embellishment cluster. They have an embellishment cluster here, but I actually moved it up. And then they have their journaling and a little word sticker. I have the word sticker, journaling, and just a little more another cluster of embellishments right down here. So bounced off the sketch, added a few more photos than what it called for, and I think it turned out great. I'm excited to document these little guys. We love this family so much. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Anything I used will be in the description box below if there's still a link. So be sure to check that out. And until next time, live a life worth scrapping. Bye, guys.